Ladies and gentlemen, hot off the motherfucking press. Just had a motherfucking epiphany. So I wanted to touch up on the subject of authority with within the fellas, you know, different factions and police. So I want to jump in the shower, start getting my thoughts together on what I was gonna say. Just a few points just to touch up on and just free ball it from there. And I started getting emotional and tearing up and shit. And I've been very emotional since I got out. Um, you know, I have a lot of feelings. I ain't gonna lie. I have just things that I have pent up feelings about that would make me cry. And I'm a loving person, but I never just balled out for a girl. And if I would, between me and her, but crying in front of my brother or something like that, it's not something that runs in our family. Um, uh, we're like we hold our feelings inside a lot, But I have practiced letting out my feelings like in a one-on-one environment. But anyways, I'm tearing up, and I'm like, man, fuck, what the fuck, man? Why am I always fucking crying for everything? And bam, it hits me. So I think I mentioned it. I had some kind of ball in my stomach through my anal passage, and so I'm thinking, oh, it's probably some form of prostate cancer due to the radiation or something that they were doing to me. And it fucking hits me that these dudes are pumping me full of estrogen. That's why I'm crying so much. And that's why my body's fucking battling each other. It's deteriorating, fighting each other, and having these migraines, these pains, stomach pains, the patches on my legs. These guys are pumping me full of estrogen, And let me explain. So for a long time, uh, the officers or the system has been trying to label me as a violent, like overly violent type of guy, But I don't have, I don't believe I have one fist fight that I've been found guilty of, one stabbing that I've been found guilty of, except I was taken to court for one, but that shit's kangaroo court, And the evidence shows that I just used my hands. So they've been trying to keep me locked up in the shoe for violence. So I'll do a term and then they'll keep me 6 more extra months. And they were saying because I was a violent, I had violent tendencies, and they've been trying to label me with that for the longest. But the fact is, I'm really not violent. You know what I mean? Yeah, people got to get beat up or stuff for their own personal reasons, but I'm not one to entertain unnecessary violence. Yeah, there's a system of fucking control, and some people get out of line, and they got to get beat up. I'm not gonna say whether I'm here or there. It's part of the life that we're living in there. I'm not gonna say whether it's correct or wrong, but nevertheless, the only time I would flex, my physical prowess was when somebody would threaten me, threaten my safety if I felt like they were gonna put their hands on me. And usually that didn't happen too much with the fellas, but more often than not, it would happen with officers. They'll come and try to snatch you up, or like I had mentioned earlier, puff out their chest and intimidate you. Matter of fact, one time that happened to me in Tracy, I went and picked up my sandals from the ground after an incident out in the yard, and I'm in handcuffs, and I'm wrestling with three officers on the ground. I'm standing up, but they're trying to wrestle me down. So I believe that I intimidated them, but there was really no reason for that, unless they meant harm to me. Then obviously I would protect myself. But as time went along, and I would do well, I would fight the system, for what I felt was them, which actually was true, when they wouldn't follow the rules and when they would abuse their power. they were trying to figure out a way to get me put away in the hole permanently. And I was ducking and dodging that, and I'm pretty sure in the previous story I mentioned how they try to keep me an extra like 3 or 4 years. Um, but I used my brain to fight back, and so for the longest they were attempting to label me as overtly violent, in their way to suppress um, me getting out there and pushing the word, the word, the good word, how to treat people and to be respectful towards each other, and how to unite, how to be united against the affront of abuse and and violence. So obviously that's not beneficiary towards towards the system, the the California Correctional Officers Union. That's not helping them out, and so yeah, they're trying to get rid of me, and I just come to realize that whatever I have inside of me, uh, this is crazy, man. They're fucking pumping me full of estrogen. That's why I'm fucking crying all the time. Oh my god, this is crazy, man. This is some shit out of fucking the Twilight Zone or something. And it makes me wonder, like, man, what else did they do to me? I got this big ass scar that I don't need. What's in there? The injury says it's common injury, doesn't require surgery. I had a surgery, and I didn't have surgery. I had a big ass fucking scar because of it. Then I went back twice, and there's evidence that shit went wrong. So the system is fucked up, man. And all that stuff I was telling you about, California making deals with big pharma. I'm living proof. I don't know how long I'll be alive for, but I'm living proof of that right here. So to all of you motherfuckers, I've been telling you all this shit too, and you're like, oh, you're fucking paranoid, bro. Yeah, who's paranoid now? So if anything happens to me, autopsy, please, by private doctor, hopefully. Uh, but wow, yeah, I don't even know. I have a lot to say as far as the officers, but let me take a sip. So when I started doing time, namely when I went to Tracy to DVI, our politics consisted of a group thing. So we'll take a vote, like not just between one or two people. Everybody would be asked on the yard and questioned, like, hey, what do you think what's best for the whole group, And that's something that a lot of people didn't want to put their 2 cents in, but at least you have the opportunity to put your 2 cents in because this directly affects you. And you get higher up on the chain, you go to higher levels. It becomes a hierarchy, And in some places, you got good people that, they're there for the people, and they try to be there for everybody's best benefits. But some people are only there for themselves, for fucking drugs and money and that popularity contest I like to talk about. And the problem with that is once you have it, you don't want to let it go. Once you've tasted that, it's like a drug in itself. And now you'll do anything it takes to keep that. What I mean by that is, you got when you're in the spotlight, you're gonna have officers coming by and trying to get you to come to the other side. Start giving you a little information here, little information there, and they might let you slide. And people have tried to do that to me, and I send them, I come kick rocks, man. I ain't trying to hear none of that shit. And anybody that knows me knows that. that really knows me, knows how I am. I was straight up. I'm not with stepping on people to get ahead in life, But a lot of people, unfortunately, they'll step on you, they'll kick you, and they'll spit on you. And so once you get a taste of that lifestyle, these people don't want to let it go. So so what's to happen when an officer comes to you and he might know some of your business, catch you slipping, doing drugs or something, and he doesn't say anything. But then he calls in that favor and he tells you, hey, this guy right here is messing with me, you know? And it could be true, it could not be true. He could just not get along with him. They could just, either one of them just could have popped an attitude. And now you got this individual, 9 times out of 10 is a kid. And, and, and now he's going to get hurt, And if you have a guy that's not too bad, he might just send him to get beat up. But if you got a guy that's vicious, that rules, viciously, he's gonna send him out there to get stabbed with a couple knives, and the dude, the kid that messed up or the person that messed up, might not make it back. And so now you did this. Why did this happen? Oh, because he's not following the rules. But whose rules is he not following? Is he not following the officer's rules, or he's not following the rules of the faction? Which to me I see as a big problem, and why a lot of times places I go, I wouldn't hesitate to speak up on what's going on around me and make it known that I was not gonna go for no fucking bullshit. And if we were here, it was for the best of everyone, not just you or myself or anything like that. There's ways to get things done without violence, and there's lessons to be taught that can be taught without violence. And but we're in prison, so there's gonna be violence. Don't get me wrong, I'm not naive to that. I spent about 18 years in prison. I know the fucking program. People are gonna get hurt, and But a good example of that would be one time I was in Corcoran Shoe, and there was this well-known. He's a Woodwood, a white guy from, I believe he was from Sac. I'm not sure. He was older, real old, but still in shape, all tatted back. Everybody was scared of that fool, like as far as his homies and shit. He was well respected. Well, he was older. He had a little attitude. Not that bad. He lived next to me for a while. I guess he copped the attitude with the cops one too many times. And the cops went and talked to his big homie, which was a big homie, one of his big homies. And they went on a back and forth, conversating about what happened. Well, their big homie is obviously, if he's communicating with the officer, well, obviously, there's something going on there, and he didn't want to lose that, so he sends his homeboy to get, stabbed on the yard. And the part I see is the most scandalous part is that they jumped on this guy when he was down. They set him up. We were playing handball. His partner, I wasn't playing. They were playing. No, I was watching. We had a rule: when you send the ball over the wall, you had to bust down 100, and if you're a camarada, 113. If you're a white man or woodpile, you do 123 burpees. And so his partner purposely threw the ball over, and I seen the whole thing going down. I was like, man, I keep my eyes open, my ears to the ground, my eyes to the sky, and everywhere else. So I seen the whole shit going down. I was like, oh, and you could feel it in the air. I have a good sense of vibe, which many people do. And so I'm watching, and I was like, no, they're not gonna do it. So sure enough, they wait till he goes down in a push-up position, and one of the kids drops and grabs his legs so he can't get up, and the other dude just starts stabbing him. And the reason they said it was because he disrespected, his big homie. But that's not what happened. It happened because he disrespected the officer, and his big homie had to get at him. And his big homie decided that he was in a situation where, do I want to lose the favoritism I have here, or should this guy just get hurt real quick and I can continue living my lavish lifestyle? I'm not saying everyone is like that, but it is rampant, and there's many people like that, um, and and it's all because they're not realizing that they're becoming puppets uh, to the stronghold, which is the union. These guys ain't dumb. While we're spending day and night fighting each other, they're in the cuts watching us and figuring us out. So we're spending our time and brain power figuring out how to hurt each other, while they're all together figuring out how to conquer and break up our unity. So they're at an advantage, and not only that, you got people going to the other side, giving up all their information. So we have to come up with new stuff, and pretty much, somebody that doesn't really have a mature mind, can be easily captured into that living that life where you say you're working for the fellas, you say you're in it for the good, but you're not. You're working for the cop, and you don't even know it. You know. So and on that same yard, man, I seen some dude. He got fucking his guts tore open, man. He got stabbed with like a 2-inch thick fucking knife. Huge, fucking huge. I'm like, come on, we're in the shoe. Where's that shit coming from? Like, I mean, I understand that people, it's prison. People are gonna get hurt and shit, But man, I don't want to see nobody die. I wouldn't. I personally don't want to see another man die at my hands. I mean, let's extreme circumstances, like he messed with somebody were to mess with my family, my nieces, or something like that. But that's like in really extreme, circumstances, but um, just because I disrespected somebody, or I said something, the disrespect doesn't have to be a fuck you. It could just be like, no, I don't want to do that. And now I'm on the list, and now this dude's getting stabbed with a fucking. I'm talking about a fucking knife so huge, man, that I don't know how you would hide that shit. And where's it coming from, man? Hey, the motherfucking officers know what they're doing. They're doing it under the guise that they're with the program, just like when these officers are bringing you in phones. Like, if you're part of if you're breaking the law and you're part of a system that you're battling the law, and you're taking a phone from an officer, what do you think's gonna fucking happen? You think that phone's not gonna be tapped? Come on, man. But these dudes are so caught up in their struggle to be the hardest motherfucker on the yard, which here they're not. They just they're fucking they're racking up money and power. It's a power thing. At the end of the day, it's all about feeling like you're the one. You're the man. An ego trip that these fools can't shake, and and it becomes like a drug. Even worse. Because you go out there and everybody's telling you what's up, and and they just can't they don't see returning to a normal lifestyle, so they'll do anything that takes to keep that position, and it could be at my expense, at your expense. And the officers, they're a lot smarter than they think. A lot of people think they're stupid. I've even said that. I've said that out of my own mouth. But an example of how forward thinking they have been is, so now there's two factions in the Mexican world in prison. You got the northern Mexicans and the southern Mexicans. You got the Paisas, but they're majority, 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, they're running with the southern Mexicans, Sureños, or southern Mexicans. So I always ask myself, why do southern Mexicans get sent to the top of California, but no more northerners get sent to the bottom of California? And I thought, oh, it's for their safety, maybe it's because of their safety. It's unfair though, because why are we separated from our families, but they're not separated from their families? So it always bothered me, like, why is that? The reason it is because if they were to bring us all together, eventually we would become one, and that'd be too many people for the union to fight against. Now they'd have a group so strong that we could shut down all of California at a snap of a finger, which it ended up doing. But imagine that. Imagine having, what's a split state right now, a split faction or a split race. Imagine uniting them. You know how much more we could get done as a unit, as one. So these are ideas, progressive ideas that they have been kept from us because they don't want us to expand our mind like that. When we get into this type of thinking, we're dipping into their pocket, into their riches, into their lust for gold and their lust to control California. Think about it, man. Open your eyes.